they had been fighting for so long for bail reform, and now it's like going in the complete opposite direction. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
If I was in prison, one thing that I would be horrified of is being a cellie with someone who I am not comfortable with.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Bars. Oh my God.
Keep this. Keep this.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm woo. Okay, we were just talking about Beyond Bars imaging. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Love Within Walls, a Prison Wife podcast. I'm your friendly host, Gigi here, and I'm here with the lovely.
Your friendly host, Paige. Hi, friends.
Hey, y'all. It's been a nice week. We just wrapped up our Camp Within Walls, and it was so much fun. We had lots of events. People came out. It was really great. And I got to actually, what's great about this was I got to actually get to know people in our group that I didn't really know before. So,
Yeah, I love
and
that.
listen,
Like, it was even more of the people that, we haven't maybe gotten a chance to even talk to. And I loved how some even felt comfortable to just come and like hang and, you know.
yeah, and do all the little fun projects and crafts and the little, the face mask, all that stuff. So it was a really great week. So we did, we're going to be probably doing it maybe next year, and maybe kind of revamping it a little bit. This was obviously our first run. So, things that we went well, things that could be even better if for next time. So I just want to thank all of our wallers for coming out and participating and enjoying it. And I had a lot of fun. I know everybody on the admin team did, and we look forward to more stuff in the future. So stay tuned.
I can't wait.
What?
Also, our book club, I know you didn't get to be there for that, but that was fun. There were, I think, gosh, at one point there were like 20 of us on the call.
Wow.
It was great, but
Oh,
there was
wow.
great discussion and it was fun. I was like, now I want to read more books so that I can like be in more book clubs. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. And this book, I will say, is pretty awesome. It's very well written. If you don't know what book we're talking about the book Love in the Time of Incarceration by Elizabeth Greenwood. It's also formerly known as Love Lockdown. You can find it on Amazon. If you have a Spotify membership, it's free on Spotify. The audiobook is. It's a really great book. It follows a couple of MWI couples, and now we're getting into another couple who met in prison. So it's all about couples during their time of incarceration, whether they're one's on the outside, one's on the inside, or now both of them on the inside. So it's a really great book. It's very well written. So I recommend it for any prison wife that wants to, get into reading books and join our book club. It's never too late. We just had our first meeting. So our meetings are every Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we're reading certain chapters and discussing those chapters. So come join us at Love with the Walls on Facebook and join our book club. It's really fun. I'm
Hmm.
sad I missed the first meeting, but just in our chat, we have a group chat on Facebook for the book club, and just talking and throughout the week about the book was it's very interesting to see everybody's different thoughts and perspectives on the stories that we're reading. So
Love that.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So come join us, y'all. It's never too late to join. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off with our sponsor, Beyond Bars Imaging on Instagram. If you haven't noticed, Paige has been up to some amazing stuff. She does anything and everything, and there's nothing she can't do. If you haven't seen
There's a few
my
things.
Instagram, I posted something today. And I'll probably post more of what Paige is doing. She's now doing, what is it, like cartoon type?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Okay. But I will say this. She can blend pictures, merge pictures. She can do sticky cartoons. She can do stickies. She can do these types of cartoons. She can also change your image up to make it whatever you want it to be. So reach out to Paige. She is ingenious at this Photoshop stuff. I don't know how to say it, but she does a fantastic job, and she can do anything and everything under the sun. So if you want something to make your pictures, your visit pictures, not look so prisony, slide into her DMs, Beyond Bars Imaging on the Insta. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Paige, this is episode 16. I can't believe we're
Crazy.
almost to 20. Isn't that crazy?
That's so weird. It'll never stop being weird.
I know, but we love you guys. Like I said last week, we're here for you guys, and
So much.
your feedback all the time that we get in our inboxes is amazing. So we love you. So, but we're gonna go ahead and start with our first seg. And guess what, guys? I am not going to be singing. Can you believe it? Wow. Here we go. Legislation. All right. Paige, do you have anything for what up with that legislation? I told you I'd get the soundboard going.
I love that, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to kind of miss hearing you sing it too.
Oh, okay. I'll do it sometimes then.
All right, that's fine.
I just had to spotlight our new soundboard, y'all.
I love that. Oh my god. I do have something. Fulton County Jail. Prison advocates are very against a new jail that they're trying to build there for several reasons. I don't know if are you familiar with Fulton County Jail? I'm honestly, I know about them because of Live PD.
I've been in that area. I visited that area, but I've never heard about the jail itself.
Mm-hmm. I guess the jail itself has been under scrutiny for a long time. 10 people died there just last year, which prompted a Senate investigation. And advocates for the new jail say, it's going to be good. There'll be better conditions and less overcrowding. But, why are we building new jails? Basically, is what the advocates are saying. Where's the building into the reform? Where is the mental health facility? You know what I mean? What's going on? And then, at the end of the article, it actually talks about how there's a new law that's going into effect for Atlanta on July 1st that some say could increase the jail populations as it criminalizes bail funds and expands the number of cash bail restricted offenses. So, sounds like they're getting ready to fill their new prisons or jails.
They need customers. They like from last week. They need customers.
It's
wow, y'all. And they had been fighting for so long for bail reform, and now it's like going in the complete opposite direction. And it's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
They need systemic solutions, not repeating the same pattern. It's obvious.
Yeah, but all they care about is money. Money. Money.
$2 billion proposed for this new jail.
Wow.
Billion with a B.
Wow. Y'all, we got to get more. We got to get out there and push for stuff, because obviously the people that we're voting in are supporting these pieces of legislation. Get out and vote. Get out and be an advocate, because this impacts us. This impacts, may not impact me directly, but it starts a trend. Big, I can't talk. Building bigger jails, more jails at the taxpayers' dollars, because the whole purpose is to incarcerate more people.
Yep.
So
returning customers, right?
Yep, returning customers. All right, I have something, not really legislation, but kind of, I guess, from our good friends at Worth Rises and Civ Right Corps. Can't ever say this word right. They put out something on Instagram a few days ago about how corporations, speaking of making money, how corporations profit off family separation. And did you know that prison telecom, this is your communication services, is a 1.4 billion with a B dollar industry? While corporations and private equity firms profit, millions of families across the country are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And it says most of us have experienced what it feels like to be separated from our loved ones. We've also felt incredible relief and renewed sense of closeness brought by reunification, even if it was through a single phone call. Unfortunately, for millions of people across the country with an incarcerated family member, staying connected is much more difficult. Did you know that a 15-minute phone call can run as high as $8.25? A 25-minute video call up to $15, and basic emails as cost as much as 50 cents or more with attachments. These are predatory rates. The industry is now raking in millions of dollars every year from incarcerated people and their families, most of who are low income. 50% of families with a loved one inside struggle to meet basic housing and food needs. The added cost of trying to stay in touch forces 1 in 3 into debt, with women carrying 87% of the cost burden and disproportionately women of color, while prison telecom providers and their investors get rich. And this is a quote from a mother whose daughter is jailed in Genesee County. I'm not sure where that is, but this is what she said. Our family was never wealthy, but we were doing okay before this. Now we've burned through nearly all of our savings and retirement funds. My husband, Paul, Jasmine's stepfather, took out a loan, and I had to sell my mother's bracelet to cover a bill. We're just trying to stay afloat. So, which corporations are involved? Well, just two corporations split control of 80% of the correctional telecom market: Securus and Viapath, also known as formerly as GTL, Global Tellink.
They
I think
love
that's what y'all use, right?
they love to change their name.
Yeah. They're both owned by massive private equity firms, Platinum Equity and American Securities, respectively, interested in capitalizing on a predatory business model. And the corporate exploitation doesn't end with high rates. Securus has been sued multiple times for illegally recording phone calls between incarcerated people and their lawyers. Viapath, aka GTL, recently settled a class action lawsuit for stealing unused money from phone service accounts it deemed inactive.
Mm-hmm.
So, our big question is, how are they going to be fighting back? How is Worth Rises trying to fight back? Well, despite all the money prison telecom corporations have poured into maintaining this exploitive status quo, the tide is finally turning against this industry. In 2018, a coalition led by Worth Rises passed first of its kind legislation in New York to make jail calls free. The following year, local advocates did the same in San Francisco. The advocacy campaigns, combined with narrative efforts that expose prison telecom's predatory practices and their human costs, has significantly hit the industry, toxifying it in the eyes of the public, reducing profit margins, and cutting off access to capital. Recently, Securus, the nation's largest prison telecom corporation, defaulted. We talked about this in a previous pod, by $1.3 billion in debt. So if you're looking for ways to get involved, this is one way to get involved. Please check out Worth Rises on Instagram or worthrises.org. They are really trying to bring out the toxicity of these capitalist, money hungry, greedy corporations trying to break the backs of incarcerated families. So if you can, you know, um, join, look them up, follow them, give them a shout out, something, because they are really trying to make the connection between an incarcerated individual and their families or friends there without these exorbitant rates that people are paying. The fact that this family had to take out loans, and because of the amount of money we have to put in because our loved one is incarcerated, is it's just heartbreaking, because I know a lot of families struggle because I mean, let's face it, the majority of the population incarcerated are lower income. So sorry guys, I didn't mean to take so much time on that, but it's just something important. It's important. I know in California calls are free, which is amazing, but I'll say this, it is not like that across the country. For a 30-minute phone call, we used to pay over $6, almost $6.50 for 30 minutes. They reduced it to four something. So it's like $4.25 for 30 minutes now. But, just to keep in mind, if you call a couple times a day, that's like $12, $15 a day that you're paying.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and I know there's states that are way more expensive than us. So the fact that a 15-minute call costs the highest price is $8.25 is almost like price gouging. Like why? You know?
I think Worth Rises does a really good job of doing their research and providing the facts and putting it in a
Mm-hmm.
really good format that's easy to read, look at, and understand. And, they're not afraid to call out the big corporations who are involved in this money making scheme. And I think that's my favorite thing about them. And, seeing how positive and um, the people that work there, I've watched a bunch of things that they've done and they really care about everyone that they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to speak for. And, we did just get free calls and they're amazing, but I remember having to pay for those and it was crazy. So my heart goes out to every single state that doesn't have free calls yet. It sounds ridiculous now. Like I'm almost adapted to the fact that we don't have to pay for calls. So like when I think about everyone else having to, I'm like, wow, that's just I've always felt like it was wrong, but it feels even more gross now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like my brain's like that. Why do you have to do that? Like that's so just it's cruel.
it is. And the sad part is the amount of politicians, lobbyists that have their hands in prison enterprises that are funding these companies and supporting these companies. It just shows you they really don't have your best interest at heart. They're in it to make money, and it's a disgusting thing. And it's all part of the whole process of incarcerating mass amount of people. Um, the more people go into prison, the more money they get back. The more people in prison, the more calls they're going to make, more money, more emails they're going to send, more money, more video visits, more money. And now you see a lot of these facilities going straight to video visits. No in-person visitations,
Mm-hmm.
and that costs money. So it baffles me that it costs that much money for phone calls, for visits, for oh gosh, I'm sorry. I could go on. I just it's like you said, Paige. It's absolutely
There
disgusting.
were
It is absolutely
there were a
disgusting.
lot of California prison wives I remember that were really scared for a while that they were the reason that they were pushing out tablets and giving us all these things were because that they wanted to try to flip to like more video visits than in person. So like they could
Mm-hmm.
like get rid of our in person visits now because they could be like, well, you can video call anytime you want. And I was like, at first when I heard that, I was like, no, I don't think that that's it. But the more like I kind of see the way that they do their business over there, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I see that. I can see that being a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's scary. It's very scary. We didn't get video visits until COVID. And um when they first came out, there
Hmm.
was a lot of panic about that. Like the fact that video visits were now going to be taking the place of in-person visits. And luckily at Angola, I don't think that's ever going to happen because if they want to have a rodeo where they make a lot of money,
Yeah.
um, you can't open the prison to the public and then not have it open to families. And I think the amount of people at Angola, I think it would cause a huge
Imagine
problem.
that. Only
So,
only time people are allowed in to back where the people on death row are when you come for the tours, not for visiting.
yeah, right.
Like how
Right.
fucked.
Yeah. Come take a tour.
Mm,
Sorry.
I will never understand.
It cracks me up because I'm just like, okay, crazy ass people.
I love that Billboard made fun of that because I was like, thank you. I'm like, someone else is like not fucking understanding this because I'm like, why? What?
And I know that this whole and if you think about, I know we're going way off topic here with what up with that legislation, but I'm kind of diving into the historical aspect. We are a very harsh country when it comes to punitive measures.
Mhm.
If you think about all the wrongful convictions in the history of the Americas, even before America was America,
Yeah.
I mean, just starting off, like we're founded on this Puritan idealism of justice. And if you look at that, I mean, look how many people they innocently slaughtered or murdered for the Salem witch trials because these women were a little different or outcasts of society. So we have this very intense form of justice, which is why will. I hate saying this, but I don't think we'll ever get rid of the death penalty. Which is also why we say lock them up and throw away the key, because we have this foundation of just tough justice.
Mhm.
And it shows in our country because we incarcerate more people per capita than any place in the world, y'all. We have to look at things differently. This is not working. It didn't work in 1692 when they murdered 19 innocent lives. And it's not working now when we're incarcerating almost 2 million people in this country.
Mhm.
So, and did you know that they threw children in prison back then? I mean, just think about it, y'all. I mean, we incarcerate now. The new thing is incarcerating children. And that's the new trend. And I hate saying that because I'm a teacher. I work in school. I see children in handcuffs. So I'm sorry. Oh, I need my chillax. I need my chillax. I just get worked up because we have to change the mindset.
Uh-huh.
Putting populations in prison is not going to make our world better. We have to find a different way. We can't put all these old people and let them to rot in prison and die, like the what is it, the hospice care and nursing home
Right.
care. That's what a prison is now. Prison, there's no more mental health institutions. All those people are now going to, you guessed it, ding ding ding, prison. And now we're locking up massive amounts of children as well.
And you also need to think about the fact that 95% of these people statistically are going to come back out. So I know you don't really want to care about them when you push them in there, but what happens to all of them when they come out and they're dealing with all of what they dealt with in there, and now that's their problem, and God forbid, they have any kind of like PTSD or, act like a normal person now, even
Yeah.
though you might have just been locked up in a cage for years,
And some of them locked up 23 hours a day.
decades.
Yep.
I think about Bill. Like, what? It breaks my heart.
Yeah. Over 40 years in prison,
Hmm.
y'all. This man spent over 40 years in prison, and
Such a great man.
I'm so proud of him. He's a beautiful human being, funny as fuck. I love
Such
him.
a good
If you
heart.
haven't met Mr. Bill, you need to make his
Yeah,
acquaintance
we're
ASAP,
bringing
y'all.
him on the pod.
Yeah, we're definitely bringing him on the pod because his experience is amazing. He was at Angola. He actually cooked for Michael and I when we were at visit. He was a trustee and a chef at one of the delis that we order from, and he has just been advocating and going on Twitter battles, which I love him for because I don't have the balls to do that. Calling out people in Louisiana, people in Florida, people across the country, fighting for our rights as family members and loved ones out here, and our loved ones who are incarcerated's rights too, and trying to push for prison reform. So, and I know we've been talking about the trends, you know, rolling back things, and this is the way we don't want to go, and we keep seeing that these companies are profiting, the criminal justice reforms are rolling back, more people are going to end up being incarcerated for longer amounts of time. So we have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just sit here and go, oh, well, oh, geez. We have to actually do something because it's not going the right way. So
Yeah.
sorry. I talk too much.
No. Never that.
But yeah, I definitely want to get Mr. Bill on the pod for
Yes.
sure.
So.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, did you want to go ahead and roll into our amazing pod episode 16?
Yeah. What with our first topic that we wanted to go over? All
Yeah.
right.
What topic do you want to do first?
Well, we can start with one that I messaged Gigi earlier this week thinking about it because I was like, I don't think we've ever really talked about this on the pod. Cellies, which I have to admit before we even dive in to
Sorry. I had to put like
that
wait, say
was that
Cellies
a
again. Just say
soundboard?
Cellies again. Yeah, just say Cellies again.
Cellies.
Boom. Okay.
I love
Sorry.
it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Damn it, I should have known and waited for that. Anyways. Um,
Sorry. No, you said just play, so I just played whenever I felt like we had a moment. Sorry.
um so before I even talk about cellies, a cellie is for those who are bunked up with one other person in a jail cell, a prison cell, that's their cellie. For when Joe first talked to me about cellies and his cellie and all of these things, I remember being ew, I don't know, there was something about the word I didn't like that I thought I was like, is he just saying this? I was like, I don't know. Fast forward, I very quickly learned that's just what they all call them. So, who you're with in your cell is your cellie. So that's just what they refer to them as. And, I think if I was in prison, one thing that I would be horrified of is being a cellie with someone who I am not comfortable with. And I feel like
Mm.
that's something that people don't talk about very often because that's another thing that kind of gets lumped in with, oh, well, they're in prison, they deserve this, you know?
Yeah.
And like, even when Joe transfers to a new prison, like his last transfer, that was my biggest fear. Like, not how he would do, but when you first move somewhere and you don't know where you're going to be, I was so scared, who's he going to have to sleep in a cell with, a locked cell? That's so, someone you don't know. It's a scary thing. I mean, they're a little more accustomed to it, but some people don't have to,
Yeah. And
deal with that. And then I know there's other people that have dorm room settings where there's 8 of them in a room. So,
oh wow. Yeah. And you don't know how that cellie is going to influence your loved one
yep,
either. Because you see cellies sometimes, some of them are into drugs
yep.
or, doing, illegal things. And that could, you worry about that impacting your loved one. What if my husband gets involved in that gambling or drugs or, other things?
Even if he doesn't get
It can,
involved, you know what I mean? Like, what if his
mhm.
cellie is doing drugs or his cellie does have a cell phone? Like, the way it is in California, if one of you has it, both of you have it. You're both responsible because you knew, and they'll write you both up unless one person is like, no, this was mine. Sometimes that doesn't even matter. It's
Yeah.
it's it's crazy how.
It was in this cell, so it's both of
Yep,
y'all's fault,
yep. And
whether you knew about it or
yeah,
not.
and so you might be on the straightest path ever, but if your cellie is a user, you know what I mean, I don't think he's gonna stop because you're not comfortable. And how would you even communicate that? you know it's
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah. So, has Joe had any, I mean, if only if you feel comfortable talking about this, has Joe had any, 'cause had any cellies that have been wonderful or not so wonderful? Like, what has been his experience?
Um, I won't share one. He does have one story that is a little out there, but I'll hold back now. Maybe I'll ask for permission for that story and I'll tell it at a later
Okay.
point or find out a way to tell it so that it's not very telling. Um,
Okay.
he's actually been really lucky with Cellies as of recently. His last prison, he was so lucky, and it was a single cell prison, so he didn't have to worry about that. Um, he was
Mhm.
spoiled in that sense, but now the prison he's at now is you have to have another one, and his cellie right now is really awesome. He also is an OMCP guy, and they get along really well because all of the guys in OMCP, they pretty much all have their heads on straight, and you have to be in it because you're literally a substance abuse counselor. Um, his
Yeah.
last, or well, not his last prison, but I guess two prisons before that, he was set up with a guy that was like his best friend for like years. It was someone that he had met back in county, and they just like were like brothers. So he's developed really close relationships with people. Obviously, it's like you're living with them every day. Like you know, you know how
Yeah.
the other one gets, and anyone who is selling up with Joe's got to be a clean freak like him, or be able to deal with his clean freakness because he is cleaning everything. Like I've never seen a man clean like that.
And I think I've seen Mike get like
Mm-hmm.
that, at Visit. He's such a
Yeah,
clean freak, and I see those little
Family Visit.
mannerisms, and I'm like, "This boy is so
Yes.
institutionalized." He's so because, I mean, you have to they make you keep,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, they make you keep your stuff very neat, because, like at where Mike is, they have tours, and so you can't have anything in the bars. You can't have you have to make your bed every morning, like that those kinda things. Um so yeah, it's I think prison brings out some of that OCD cleaning. It's almost kind of like, like in the military, like how they have that with the military, you have to have everything
Yes.
organized
Yeah.
and clean and straight and no crumples, no
Uh-huh.
lines, no
Make the
wrinkles.
bed,
It's almost
literally.
yeah, it's almost like that. So I see those mannerisms when we go to visit. I'm like, dude, why are you so worried about cleaning this freaking
Yes.
table? Like, well, I just gotta have my space clean. I gotta have my space clean. Like,
Uh-huh.
like. So I'm sure it's like that in his cell
Uh-huh.
too, for
Joe
sure.
keeps his toilet in there so clean because they like wash things in there that like that's probably like one of the
Yeah.
cleanest surfaces. Like he doesn't even let dust fall. Like he's prison I think made him even
Wow.
more like that. I think he was a little like that before, but even more so after. And I thankfully he's always had cellies who at least knew how to deal with that or were also similar.
If you gotta be clean to live with me.
Uh-huh.
You gotta be on my
Yeah.
level.
What Mike is single
um,
celled, right? So he doesn't.
Mike is single cell. They do have, I mean, they have open their tier is pretty much open. They have 16 cells to a
Uh-huh.
tier. And you have tier hours from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., which means the doors are open. You can walk up and down the hall. You can go talk to other people in their cells, that
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. Now he doesn't have a cellie, but he does have like, a best friend, like I guess you would call it a best. I call them prison buddies. That's what I call them. They're special buddies. And he has a friend that he's had from pretty much the almost 25 years that he's been
Wow.
there, and they live right next door to each other. And that's been his best bud. He calls him his brother almost because they kind of, I mean, Mike was only 20 when he went in, and this guy had been there for several years at this point before when Mike got there, and about almost 10 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
he kind of showed Mike the ropes, and they became fast friends. They're both from North Louisiana, so um, he has a best friend, but they don't, and talk about OCD. Woo, ooh, this guy was very OCD. He's very clean. Everything has to be straight and neat. Um, but they're not. in the same cell together, but they share a TV together, that, they do a lot of things together. But, it's a little bit different. It's not like he has to, I can tell when he's aggravated with him. I can tell when he's happy with him. Like,
Are
so,
they in like a
it's
vicinity close enough to each other where they could like talk? Okay.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, during the day, they can come out and just talk. They sit um, in like kind of like lawn chairs, like plastic chairs, like, that you would put on a patio. And they just sit and kick it in the morning. They drink coffee in the they're like old men. They just drink coffee in the morning, sit in their little patio furniture on the hall, and just, kick it and talk about, politics, things going on, anything and
So are they
everything.
still in their cell when they
So
do that?
no, they're out in the
Okay,
hall.
so they don't have to. Why, I don't know why I
Yeah.
thought he was in his cell.
He's in his cell. They open the tier. Well, he gets up and cleans. He's one of the tier
Oh, that's right. That's
cleaners.
right.
He's one of the like janitors for his tier. So he gets out of his cell about 5:45, 6 o'clock to go clean. But the tier doesn't open for the rest of everybody else
That's
until 7.
okay.
So about 7 o'clock, they get their coffee. They're finished cleaning. They get their coffee and they hang
Yeah,
out.
yeah. That
So
makes sense. They have that kind of thing at CDCR, so I get that makes sense.
yeah, just a bunch of old biddies hanging out, drinking coffee
Hey,
in the morning. That's what they're
that's good for
doing.
them. Period.
So obviously, Joe has had a lot of different Cellies and he's had a lot of different experiences, but this one you said is probably the best that he's had,
Right
or
now,
the one
the
he's
the
with
best
now?
was probably his friend that was like his brother, but the one he has right now is also a really good guy. And this guy
Okay.
could possibly even get out in a few years, so that it's awesome. It's kind of like a nice little extra push to be better.
Yeah. And it's good that they're in the same program so they know what, they both have the same focus and they both have the same drive and, the same things they have to deal with, that they can talk if they need to and, discuss. And
I really,
so it's good that they do that, that they put them together
yeah,
like that.
honestly, if I had any say in it, I wish that they would give all of them who do that program their own cell, like so that they could all be single celled. Because I feel like your job for 8 hours of the day plus maybe more is literally counseling, and you're talking to people, and it's like if you don't get a second of alone time ever, that's got to be kind of crazy. And don't you want to keep the counselors sane? Is That's my thing. I think about that, and
Yeah,
I'm like, oh no.
I can imagine the social tank kind of runs down at the end of that 8 to 10 hour shift that they have to do talking all day, and they just want to be silent for a
Right?
moment.
That
I can totally
that's
understand that.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's not that he's ever like verbally said that to me, but like I think that that would be exhausting to not have that possibly. I mean, you might if you work different schedules or something like that, but not to ever have a moment of alone time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a teacher, I can feel that because I talk all
Mhm.
day. I talk all day, and by the time I talk on the way home, I talk on the phone, like Mike usually calls me on my way home. And then when I get home, I just need like an hour just of silence. Just to kind of, even if I just sit on the sofa and just be quiet by
I
myself, or sit in my bed and just be quiet. Like, I need that after talking all
I
freaking
wish
day. So I can understand
I wish
Joe's need
my
for that.
my son would understand that. He does nothing but
Luckily, I just have fur babies, so I don't have to. That's what I'm saying. I give mad props to women who work 8 hour, 9 hour days, 10 hour, 12 hour days, and then come home and have to take care of a family on top of it. So,
shout out.
yeah.
Shout out, lady.
Shout out. Wait, 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 wait. I gotta hold on. Kudos,
I
ladies.
love
Kudos.
that.
Just
Oh my
saying.
god. You know what our next speaky pipe needs to be? Um
What?
what is your loved one's strangest, maybe Celly experience, and you can keep it anonymous if you want to. Might be better, but
Perfect.
I
I
feel like
love
that'd be
that.
great. A great way to do it. I'm like, shit. I wish I could disguise my voice and call in and do shows. Do a voice
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a great one to do. So, yeah, if your loved one has a crazy silly story, come share it with us on our Speaky
We want to
Pipes,
hear it.
y'all. We definitely want to hear it. And you can keep it all anonymous, promise. All right. Well, I had a topic that was brought to me by one of our wallers. I won't say her name, but I think you know who it. I think
Hmm.
Paige, you know who it is. But she wanted to bring this up. She thought it was a great idea for a topic to talk about on the Potty Pod Pod. So thank you for this, our lovely Waller. She says, "Thank you for your support and kindness." Her loved one was in a federal institution, and now he's getting transferred to CDCR. He transferred to an administrative segregation unit because he's on level 4, and the location closest to the federal court is at level 1 or 2. So she doesn't have phone calls. Her visits will be behind glass, but she's happy to have anything and have more communication. She said he should receive a tablet, fingers and toes crossed. I wanted to give you an idea for for the podcast. One of my hardships was my divorce, which has been a while, and was how he'd react since we have a child parented together was marrying my husband. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm reading this as she wrote it. It's not making sense to me. Sometimes when I read it, doesn't make sense. I'm very private. When I tell anyone about my husband, it's because I feel that I can finally trust them. But I still never reveal his name and just got mine changed to his. So it's all
Mm.
out. But I think a topic of, does the ex or the ex's family cause issues for you? How do you or did you handle them knowing? Just an idea. And thank you for seriously being kind to me. It feels safe to discuss because I know how you feel about loving someone incarcerated. So I guess her issue is her ex husband and his
Hmm.
family knows
Yeah.
now about her name change because she married her loved one
Yep.
who's incarcerated, and she wants to talk about how does the ex's family feel and how does that play out for you. How can you handle them knowing? I will say my ex knew about Michael because we were together when I started writing Michael, but when he asked me if I'm dating anyone, I'll be honest, I just tell him no. No. First of all, it's not his business when he asks me, but I just tell him no because I don't want to give him. Obviously, I live in the closet, so it's a little different for me. But I can't imagine having people that were your family at one point now out of your life, kinda, sorta, and now they know about your loved one. Um, in a sense, though, it's so what? That's what I say. I know I'm saying that and I'm not really I have feeling behind it because I can only imagine the anxiety that would give me if my ex knew. And I'll be honest, y'all, my ex is in law enforcement. My ex is. He was not always in law enforcement when we were together. It was his dream and I followed it there. And so now, I got a lot of shit for that. I did. A lot of people made fun of me for that. How can you go from one end of the spectrum to the other? Well, I mean, it really wasn't a choice. It just happened. And I supported my husband. He was in his 30s going through the academy to be a police officer. So it wasn't his first line of work. It was something he dreamed of, and I backed his dream as his wife at the time. And that's one reason why I don't tell him either, because we call it a Leo, law enforcement officer. He is a Leo, and I don't, and he's a police officer in my parish, what we would call a county where I live, and I don't want him knowing. Even though he might have an inkling. Um, but yeah, I try to keep it
Yeah,
because
and
of
I mean
that.
that's your
I don't
that's your
need.
your decision. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter what
Yeah,
anyone else has to say about that.
and I know, and it's easier to say that than, thinking about if he found out he could pull strings, he could run, because here in Louisiana, I mean, it's all corrupt, right? So he could have power over Michael and I's relationship, and that terrifies Michael. It terrifies Michael. He's like, I would. He put my address to come, like, because they had to do a parole thing for clemency. He put my address as to come home, but he's like, I don't know if I want to stay there because your ex husband is a police officer, and he could pull strings and get me, back in jail, and then I'll never get out again.
Do you think he would do that?
So, and this, I'm just gonna say, I really
Yeah.
don't know because power makes people do things that they wouldn't
Mm.
normally do. I really don't know the answer to that question. And that's scary.
Yeah, and that would
I
be
would think
enough
that he
to be
wouldn't.
like,
Yeah. I would think that that wouldn't, but that he wouldn't do that because in some sense he does still care
mhm.
for me as a person. There's no animosity between us. Um, we wish each other happy birthday, Merry Christmas. We do all that. Just pleasantries. So it's not like we don't talk to each other. Um, to where it's like a negative thing.
You just
So,
don't
but
know him well enough
I
now
honestly,
to know. You don't know him
wait,
well
say that
enough
again.
now to know where his head is, or, you know.
I just, as a former police officer wife, I've seen power be used. People do things with power
Oh,
in law enforcement
that's
and
for
get away
sure.
with stuff. So I've seen the corrupt side of it. And I'm not saying that all police officers are bad because I honestly don't believe that. You know, I think that there are good and bad in every profession. So my ex's family does not cause any issues for me because they don't really, I don't even think they know.
Mhm.
But if, I don't know, does I don't know, you don't have many issues with that, do you, Paige?
No, so, I've actually haven't really touched too much on this on the pod, but
Mhm.
I kind of think I'm going to just to kind of, be real. You know what I mean? Do you
Okay.
think why not?
Yeah, just I wouldn't say names or anything if
Oh,
you're worried about that.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Um,
Give
so
us the tea. Give us the
yeah,
tea.
the tea on my not so perfect life. um, my ex would be my son's father. He is not in the picture right now. He has not been in the picture. Um, he has his own issues. He took off and has been MIA since my son was like 1.5. My son is now 5. He's going into kindergarten, so he actually is not around. So not only would I normally not care what he would think about it, but even more so, yeah, I don't care what you think about this because this man who is not has no tie to Brody other than obviously me, like, has loved and cared for Brody in so many ways by not even physically being here more than,
Mhm.
his father or birth, you know, his SDBD has ever done for him. And, you know, I think that
And do you go ahead, Paige, I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, I think that, kind of speaks for itself. And I
Mhm.
don't foresee it ever being an issue. I mean, I'm sure if his family, once I don't know if they know, who knows, they probably, I kind of have gotten to my life to this point as to, I am not, you know, everyone in the world doesn't know, but I've made it to the point where I don't care if people find out. And I kind of like, even like, kind of push the door open a little bit so that people can find out, if that makes sense, because it just makes it a lot easier.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of people that have found out about Joseph and I even since we started this podcast, just by this podcast, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
that actually, weirdly enough, is kind of a more comforting way, in my opinion, for them to find out about us, because, you hear that from someone and immediately your brain goes to the craziest places. But, if you do want to hear and think and learn about my relationship and my husband and, the person that he is beyond what he did, this is the best place to listen and hear it. So I
Yeah, true that.
I would love for them to tune in and let me know what they think, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because that is who he is. And if you truly care about me and my happiness, then I think you should and would be really happy for me. You know what I mean? I've never had this, and it's so effortless. And, I would love it if he wasn't in prison too, like, want to help me get him
Yeah.
out? I don't know.
So you don't have any issues with your ex's family though?
No, they have not heard from him either. So, but they've always been
Okay.
a very big part of my son's life, and I'll never cut them off just because of him, because that's still
Mhm.
his family, and I really am big on that. And so they're basically like a family to me in a way. I care about them a lot. So
And and do they know about Joe or no?
I I don't, maybe.
Okay. You're not sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've um
Okay.
for whatever reason, people always like to be like, you know, stick their nose in my life, and I've I've had people tell me that, like, the little hints and stuff that I place different places, people connect the dots and figure it out. And, it's, I don't know how to explain it. It makes sense, but
Okay. Yeah. So if they do know, you just don't care.
no, I mean, um, they're allowed to
Okay.
have
And
their own
they've never.
opinion. You know what I mean? Please have your own
Yeah.
opinion, but also, know that this has been my life for 3.5 years, and this person genuinely cares for Brody and loves him. And, you know, at, he literally came into my life before Brody even turned 2.
Wow.
So, Brody's 5 now. It's crazy.
Well, I think the best answer is if hopefully this woman's ex's family is not giving her any issues. I hope not.
I understand
Because
that being a fear, though. Totally.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially if you have, like, custody and court disputes and stuff, like, because, anyone hears that, they're like, oh, I'm taking that. Like, that's on my side for court. Like, automatically, thinking that that has any weight over anything else.
Yeah.
I I feel
Yeah, so it can be harmful to you for sure. If that's brought up in a custody hearing or something like that, for
Yeah,
sure.
it sucks. And I love, 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 love the woman who sent you this, and it makes that, like,
Mhm.
makes my heart hurt so much to think that that's a fear that she has, but it's an understandable one. And I really hope that that's not something that she has to deal with, because she's a great person and her husband is a good guy too. So I hope that that's just a fear
Yeah.
and not like a actual reality.
Yeah, I hope it's just a concern and not the real deal, you know? 'Cause I feel that would be terrifying. I know she's kinda somewhat in the closet herself, so I
Hmm.
know that she's very nervous about something like that.
Hmm.
All right, well, I think we have a phone call, Paige. I think we
Oh,
have a phone call.
we do.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Fred.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
Oh, guys, Fred's calling. Do you know what that means? Florida Fred is calling. That means it's time to dig into our DMs and our questions and our comments from our Instagram story post. Are you ready,
I'm
Paige?
so ready.
Okay. Did you like that new segment I did?
I love that.
Dude, I just built that on the fly.
I
All
really
right.
love it.
Okay. All right. So we had several of you guys hit us up in either our DMs or our story, leaving questions and comments. And I'm very, very excited about some of these questions.
Yay.
The first one is going to remain anonymous. She wants to know her husband was just sentenced to LWOP times 2 plus 10 years. Your podcast helps. She wanted to say this. It's not really a question, it's a comment. Sorry. Your podcast helps make me feel less alone. So that was the first one we got on the Instas. Thank you, honeys.
Yeah. I love the
know
LWOP wives. So much love.
Yeah.
Like seriously. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I've shared this, but Joseph was originally sentenced with double LWOP. So I will never understand, because what do you mean? And then 10 years, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I just
Why add 10 years on
like,
top
what
of
are
it at
you
this point?
yeah. Ugh. I'm glad you
Or why even do double? Why even do the double LWOP?
Yes.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we're here for you, honey. And thank you for your comment. And, you know, if you need a support group, we're here for you. Come join us in Love Within Walls. But you can always message us anytime. Slide into our DMs. But thank you for that comment. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we're here for you.
Yeah.
Never, guys, never believe me, because I've been there. Don't ever feel like you're alone. I don't want you to ever feel that way, because we're here with you 120%. And there's so many of us out here.
Literally.
So,
and you can message either of us about anything. Like, even if you've never talked to us before, I've had girls do that and just be like, can I talk to you, or can I vent to you about something? The answer is always hell yes. Like,
doors always open. Yeah. All right. Well, here's a fun question. I'm excited about this one because I got some tea. All right, here we go. Our good friend Miss Des, beautiful Miss Des, asked, have you ever had to deal with an ex of his popping up to cause trouble? How'd you handle it?
Thankfully, no.
Paige, got anything?
Thankfully, no. Over here, we're good. How about you, Gigi?
Okay. Well, yes, I've had a couple issues with a couple of exes of Mike's, because he was a ladies' man.
Oh my God.
I call him a reformed hoe. So I know. But anyway, it's our little joke. He had a lot of women on the street, and he obviously had a very serious relationship while incarcerated before me. And his ex keeps popping up. Boy, and I will say this, I have a little victory here, because she finally got rid of her Mrs. I'm not gonna say her name, but she got rid of her Mrs. Taylor Facebook account.
Did we
Thank you,
talk about
Jesus.
this on the pod before, or did we talk about this off the pod?
We talked about this off the pod, because I was like, that was the day I found out that she was no longer on Facebook as Mrs. Taylor.
Oh, okay. I'm ready for everyone to hear this tea.
Yeah. So this woman, first of all, the story that she made up about Mike and her meeting is absolutely totally ridiculous. She said that she put all this on like capital punishment sites and all this stuff. She said that she was visiting someone else, a friend of hers, and he was visiting his attorney in the same room, which, first of all, would never fucking happen, because legal visits and family visits are on 2 different days and 2 different areas of the facility. Okay. Because they can't record legal visits. So she said he saw me from across the room and had to get to know me. Like, he was visiting with his lawyer and he had to stop his legal visit to come find me and get to know me. No, honey, you wrote him from a pen pal site. Let's be real. Okay. So anyway. Oh, okay. I need my chillax sign right about now. So not only is she this compulsive liar, her whole story with Michael has been fabricated. 1,000 times over, all over capital punishment sites. So part of me wants to say that she was, you know, uh, mm, kind of into that, capital punishment thing. And she has pictures of things dealing with Michael still on her personal Facebook. Like, this was the greatest love of my life, blah, 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 blah. And not only does that, Michael has a little fan club because one of his former flames is still in love with him after 20 something
Quit
years.
it.
And she always comments, "Oh my God." Okay, this is not his ex. This is an ex from the street. Not really even an ex. He just hooked up with her one time and basically she fell in love with him. Anytime his friends post about him, she will always comment, "Tell him I love him and I miss him," and all this stuff.
No.
So he's got some bizitches in tow. But the biggest problem I've ever had was with his ex fiance. And I tell Paige this all the time. If you've ever seen those memes on like Instagram or TikTok where it's like, I have to think about, like, it's like usually like a cat or a dog. And it's like, now I have to think about all of the women he's been with before me and how he's
Mm-hmm.
undressed women
Done.
before me.
Like
And
I'm gonna
like,
throw
it's like
up.
this angry pet.
Yeah. Like that.
That's me. And in our most recent visit, I got angry because I get worked up. I do. I get heated up, and I'm like, "Ugh, I have to be in the same visitation room as when you propose to that hoe. Like, like when you propose to her. I shouldn't say hoe. I should be nice. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to be good. Sorry.
woman
I
loving
don't want to
woman.
do.
Woman supporting women.
Nah. So I was like, you even had all of the COs come in and clap when you went down on one knee and proposed to her. That's so disgusting. I can't believe I have to be in the same room that you did this in. Like, travesty, right? I'm being extra here, okay? But I was just thinking about that, and he's like, "Come on, come on." Like, I get how you feel that way, but come on. I'm like, I know, but it's just the principle of it. And then, so his ex fiance, the AKA, we'll call her former Mrs. Taylor, okay? When Mike and I started, we were together at this point. It was December of 2016 and we had started writing in August of 2016. We were together at this point. She came parading back in, sent him emails, sent him money. I will say that I have an amazing husband and he's like, I'm not responding to this. Like, he took the money. I was like, "Thank you, honey, for the $50. Thank you." But he refuses to communicate with her. So she also came in the picture again when Mike and I's documentary was starting to come out.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
She popped back up. She was talking to all of his friends again. Um and I've never personally spoken to this woman, nor do I want to. Um, I thank you for letting him go, because now I have an amazing husband
Period.
that I've never had. But she obviously she stresses me out because she comes in and out because she became friends with all of his friends and she still talks to his friends. Like my sister-in-law, she still talks to. I wouldn't say they're great friends or anything, but they still
Like why
communicate.
though?
Not I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I think maybe just to be polite, and I think the last conversation, my sister-in-law, I don't know what the last conversation was, but one of them was like, he's in love, he's the happiest he's ever been, like, please don't fuck this up kind of thing. Like, she's the light when she walks in the room, his face lights up, like she's brought the family back together, like, like this woman has done wonderful things. She's an angel, like basically telling the ex this,
Mhm.
right? And after that, I haven't heard too much from her, um, by ways of other people or by ways of Michael. She hasn't written him an email. She hasn't written him a letter. Um, so she hasn't really caused trouble. I will say that. But I had a little victory last week when she got rid of her Mrs. Taylor Facebook account because she was still so and so Taylor.
Wow.
Okay. I'm like, no, bitch, no, bitch. I'm Mrs. Taylor. Thank you.
Like,
Anyway, but I don't have her causing problems. She just randomly pops up.
and this
Um,
Facebook was her active Facebook.
one of her many. We'll say that. One of her many. She's got like 3 or 4. Okay.
That statement in itself,
I have a feeling
got
this.
it. I get
Go
it
ahead. I'm
now.
sorry.
Like that statement, I'm like, oh, okay, got
Well, I have a feeling this Mrs. Taylor one was her prison wife one.
it.
Does that make
Yes,
sense?
yes.
But she had it from their relationship ended, y'all, in 2013, 11 years ago. And she's just now getting rid of it in 2024. So, yeah.
I'll keep my. I
No.
guess at least I'll say I'll give her props for at least staying away after she was told that he's happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just stay like that then, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Please go off and do your own
Yeah,
thing,
thanks.
honeys.
Best
Do your own
wishes,
thing,
girly.
honeys. Bless, I'm going to say like the Southern woman, bless your heart. Bless your little black heart.
Best wishes, girl.
In Southern, that means go fuck off, bitch. Okay? Peace out.
Thank
That's our nice way of saying. So Des, I
I hope you're not dealing with. You're the
I
sweetest thing ever, and I no.
yeah. And you're amazing. And I know you're I don't know, are they married?
No.
Her okay. Well, your loved one I know loves you endlessly, and hopefully he's not paying attention to any of the ex bullshit. Um and I would just say this. Always, y'all, I can cuss. I have a mouth of a sailor, you know this. I can get riled up real quick. It takes a lot, but I can get riled up. Um just always try to be the bigger person, because I will say this, exes come in and cause issues to stir shit up and get you and throw you off course. Don't let them win.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth your energy. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your
If they
resources.
wanted to be with them, they would.
If your man wanted to be with this woman, he
Mm-hmm.
would. He doesn't. He chose you. Just remember that. And don't feed into their immaturity and their bullshit, and clearly the fact that they can't move on. So, I don't know. That's the best advice I can give. Just sometimes negative people just like they do stuff to get at you and see what you will do for a reaction. And some people just like the drama and stirring the pot. So, it's best not to give into
Mm-hmm.
that.
They want, like, it's just like the same people that want to bully us as prison wives. They want a reaction. Don't do it.
Yep. Yep. All right. Our next one, I think that was all. Was that all we had for the? Oh no, we have two. We have a couple more. Sorry. Oh, this one's so good. I'm excited about this one, y'all. I'm really excited about this one, Paige. I can't wait to hear yours.
Yay.
Chapters and Chains. Our girl Addie. We love you, Addie. Always coming with the good stuff. What is your prison wife life theme song?
Mm. Oh my gosh. Um,
Do you want me to? You want to think about it, Paige, or
I
you have
have
one?
it. I'm reaching for it.
Okay.
What is yours?
I actually have a plethora. I never have just one, because I was actually thinking about this at the gym this morning when I was working out, and I had my AirPods in and I was listening to music, and I go, "Ooh, like um I feel like my prison wife life theme song is several songs, not just one." Let me see a screenshot. Okay, a couple that I have off the top of my head. One that just sticks out to me, and I know it's probably not the right song, but it always amps me up when I'm feeling like when I feel alone, when I feel like I'm out here doing all this by myself, is Like a Boy, Like Sierra from like the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't know why it just makes me feel like a tough bitch when I play that song in my car and I'm bumping out. Um, Another one is one that really stuck out to me was The Greatest by Sia and Kendrick Lamar. Because it talks about running up at like I got another mountain to climb, but I got stamina. Like that, like I am like even though I'm in this shitty ass situation, like I can be the greatest and do good things even with this crazy ass life. And even though there's obstacles in my path left and right.
Mhm.
Um and then I have two more. Sorry y'all. I know this one probably gets a little, on the political spectrum, but it's really not. It's about being a tough female. Mine are all about being tough females. I love Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys.
I love
Um
Alicia Keys.
and this one's the political one is Mother's Daughter by Miley Cyrus. And it talks about like me being like I always go back to the witch because I always go back to the witch hunt. Like I feel like we're always on a witch hunt because we're always persecuted and there's always prejudice against us because of who we choose to love. And It's all about being a female. Like like I'm a female. I'm doing this. I don't need a man out here to survive. And I'm different, but I'm here to do the damn thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then finally, a good jam is I love Bad Girls by MIA.
Mhm.
So I have a lot. I have a lot. I try to do more pump up song because my journey is so hard. It's really tough and I could sit here and cry all night, but these songs get me out of it. And I think that that's so important on this journey. So, yeah, that's my little prison wife theme
Will
song
you
playlist, if you want
will
to
you
call
read
it
her
that.
question for me one more time?
Sure. She said, sorry, I have all my pictures in different places. What is your prison wife life theme song?
Hmm. I'm instantly going to the tide is high.
The tide is high, but I'm
Because
holding on.
like how I say, like the little Lizzie McGuire
Holding.
animation girl is me. So I'm like, I think of that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's me. And then like the end of the movie. Hmm.
Is that the S Club 7? Did they sing that in the Lizzie McGuire movie?
Um. Yes.
Because they sang that. No, not
Or
S Club 7. Who was it? No,
um.
it was
Oh,
Atomic Kitten or something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Some poppy group. Or did she sing it in the movie?
Um. I don't think she sang "The Tide Is High." Now
Okay.
I want to go watch that movie. Anyways, I'm just gonna say, since I'm on the spot, I'm gonna say I can do it with a broken heart, even though my heart isn't broken. But like, I feel like sometimes, like when you keep getting hit in the stomach with shit on this life, that like that's Taylor Swift's whole song
Mhm.
about how it's like literally her like performing and going on with a broken heart and like not stopping, and she's like, try to take my job, bitch. Like, you can't do it like this, and I like that.
Nice.
She said
Who
Taylor
sings that?
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
She
Okay.
said,
My Swifty over here. My Swifty over
I
here.
I just really love her.
As do a lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of
A lot of
people
people do.
don't. I'm so depressed.
Well, listen, I will say this, Paige. I will say this. You've kind of opened my eyes a little bit with Taylor Swift. I did not like Taylor Swift for the longest time, but you do have me listen to her every
Good.
now and then. So, mad props to you. You can
Thank
change,
you.
guys. You can change your mind and perception on
That
things.
makes me very happy.
So
Thank you.
so it was all Paige's. I'm saying Paige opened my eyes, y'all. Paige definitely
We
opened
love
my
that.
eyes.
That's a win. That's a
All right, our next.
W, Swifties. That's a W.
Yeah. Hey. I wouldn't say I'm fully converted, but I'm not hating Taylor Swift right
We
now.
love that.
Okay. I know the Swifties are gonna come after me. Wear a bracelet. Wear a bracelet. Okay. Anyway. Sorry. All right, Taylor, our girl Taylor. Hey, Tay Tay. She said she left this comment for us. How did you bitches get so fucking sexy?
I can literally hear her saying that, like almost how you just said it. Like, you did pretty good.
Aw, thanks. And I've never talked to her like voice talked, so I don't know
That
her
was
voice
good
very much.
for
But
not talking to her. That was pretty good.
well, thank you, Taylor, for that wonderful comment. I don't see myself as
Yeah,
sexy,
honestly,
but
to ever call myself
thank
that,
you.
I like it's like I just can't. I have my own issues.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
thank you. We
I'm like
appreciate the compliment. We love you. I'm doing hand
hand
hearts.
hearts.
Hand
Thank you, hand hearts.
hearts.
My
All
favorite.
right. And one of
That's
the my favorite hand hearts, my favorite. Anyway, the last response for our story was from This Mom Life times 5. She says, "Bring toddlers to visit daddy behind glass?" Question mark.
I think I don't want to be safe, but I feel like that's really up to the parent.
Yeah.
You know, because as a mom, I'm like, I don't think I would want anyone to tell me. Like, I would probably have to make that decision on my own. And then, like, cause you got to think about obviously the kid, you got to think about the one, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what I would do. So I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable speaking on it, I guess, because I don't, you know,
Yeah. Um I don't feel comfortable speaking on it either, but if I had a kid, I mean, knowing the way Angola is, they're very family friendly, they're very good with
mhm.
kids. They don't really fuck with kids at Angola, which is nice. I would. It would probably not be a very long visit because obviously, little kids can't sit there.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for children to sit there in a glass
Hmm.
visit because usually when you're in the contact visiting room, they have games and they have books, little kids' books and coloring books and things to do, right? But for a glass visit, they don't have any of that. So it might be a shorter visit, if that's worth it to you. I know seeing for an incarcerated individual, seeing their children can either be a great thing or not so great thing. I don't. It just depends on the situation. So
Yeah. I totally
I don't.
agree because, like, honestly, facility matters too. So it's like some facilities you're going to
Hmm.
know are more strict than others. And, some you might know that will treat children better. So, you know, I wouldn't take kids to one that you've heard are particularly cruel or unkind. Do your research.
Or yeah, or it could be
Yeah.
traumatic for them. Like it would make it traumatic for them. And it may be traumatic for your loved one to see them because he or she may not want
Mhm.
them coming. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think it has to be decided between the
Mhm.
two parents what's best. And if they can navigate that with toddlers, and answer, talk about seeing daddy, but we're not going to be able to touch him, and just navigating all of that. That's a lot. So yeah, I don't know if I would feel comfortable. Maybe a newborn I would be okay with, but toddlers are still their minds are absorbing things. So I don't know. I think that's a decision between you and your
Yeah.
husband or, your loved one, as a family unit. And I think it's important to include him in that decision too. So Yeah.
Definitely.
I would definitely talk with him about it. All right, that's all I have for the inbox. Now we're gonna move over to our speaky pipes. I love a good speaky
Yeah.
pipe. All right, we have 3 speaky pipes. Are we
Wow.
ready? All right, here we go. Here is speaky pipe number 1. And if I don't know if everybody's speaky pipe, I haven't listened to them, so I'm kind of going with you on this page.
Oh,
We haven't listened to them.
I just
Um,
thought I forgot to post about even. Damn it!
it's okay. We got 3. We
I
got 3
have to
speaky
remember.
pipes. Um, It's okay. We're good. Remember, guys, you can always hit us up on a speaky pipe anytime. Doesn't have to be on pod day. It can be any day of the week. And our last question that we asked you guys for the speaky pipe was, what was your craziest or strangest? Was it the strangest
Yeah.
interaction with the CO? Okay. So that was our last one. So here we go. No, that wasn't it. That was the last week's.
Um.
Oh, it was the laws of attraction. Prison wife law of attraction. If you've ever had an incident where you tell
With
somebody, "Oh, I'm
men.
with
With
somebody in prison," and
men.
they come
With
at you even
men.
harder.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. There you go. You
Yes.
got it.
So some of ours may be this and some may just be a random speaky pipe. So here we go. Here is number 1 by Anonymous.
Hi, ladies. I just wanted to follow up on last week's situation with my daughter being made to cry in the visiting room. Paige, you had asked if I was able to follow up with anyone on that situation. And unfortunately, at that point, I was so new to being a prison wife that I didn't know if that was something that I could do or how to go about doing it. And I had also heard horror stories about the loved one on the outside, bringing an issue to the facility's attention and then having trouble created for the loved one on the inside. And I certainly didn't want to cause any problems for my husband. So we just let it go. But we did make the decision that I was not going to visit with that CO present. So if we knew that she was going to be working, I wasn't visiting that weekend. Now, I will also say that if this situation were to happen today, if either of my daughters or myself were treated unfairly in a visiting situation, then I certainly would bring it to the warden's attention so that it could be dealt with appropriately. But thank you for asking, and thank you for showing love and support, especially to those of us who live with the double stigma. When our husband is in a certain category of offense. I really appreciate that.
She's so well
All
spoken.
right. She is. I love her to death. And I love her. I've seen her girls kind of grow up over the years. Um and yeah, I got really upset when I heard her story last week about the CO messing with her daughters and making them cry to the point where they were
She made a
crying.
really good point there with
So
she made a good
go
point
ahead.
saying about, being nervous about possibly saying the wrong thing and getting her husband into some kind of trouble because, you know, that is a thing at some facilities and some places. And, it's, pick and choose your battles basically is one thing you very quickly learn in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, and you always worry about the retaliation of what could happen to your loved one because they can get pissed off at your loved one and take it out on them. But I think I think her standing up for herself saying, if this happens again, I'm not going to sit there and take it. Like I will do something. I think that that's important too because at the same time, while you don't want anything to happen to your loved one, you also don't want anything to happen to you or your children and like the way you're being treated at visit. Um we are human beings. We're visiting our loved ones, and this should be a time of joy, not a time of trauma, chaos, all of that, and mistreatment. So I applaud you for wanting to stand up for yourself the next time if this happens again. I hope and pray this never happens again. But I'm proud of you for also saying I'm also not going to take it. It's not, we don't deserve
Yeah.
mistreatment, and nor do our children. All right, you ready for the next one? Okay. All right, here we go. By Anonymous.
It's always the same song and dance with these guys out here in the street. Oh, he can't please you. Actually, he does a much better job at pleasing me than any man in my past, in my life, out here on the streets could ever. Just him in my ear. Oof.
Amen, sister.
Oh my
Amen.
gosh. Girl,
I
hear
love
you.
it.
I hear you. That it's always funny when men say
Amen,
that. It's
because
like, please, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm telling you. And let me say, when we get our Patreon started, I will tell you all the stories. I have no problem
Yes,
talking about that
I
somewhere
know.
safe. But I will say that you're absolutely 100% right. What my husband can do for me while he's in there trumps anything anybody's ever done
Yep.
for me out here physically. Just a saying. So, amen, sister. 100%.
We
100
fully
down with you on
endorse
that.
that statement. Thank you.
My name is Gigi Taylor, and I support this message. All right. And our last one is by the wonderful, the beautiful, the sweet Miss Lulu. I love her. All right. And guys, I love her accent. It's beautiful. So enjoy this. Here we go. Our last Speaky pipe.
Yes, it happened to me. So it was a friend. I thought it was a friend, and he was actually hitting on me. I told him several times. He knew everything about my man, how we met, and everything. And he was always making negative comments. So I finally blocked him, and I understood that for him, my man was less worthy than himself. He had a high opinion on himself, and that's why I guess he couldn't understand. But yet he was educated. He was, he was pretty attractive and everything. He was still a totally uninteresting person. So I think it makes him angry, but that's great. And I just want to say that it's not because someone is incarcerated that he is not less worthy than anyone else. And I mean, when I have friends that present me their husband or their fiancé, I never said, "Oh, wow, he's so ugly. Oh, he seems absolutely dumb. Oh, is he rich or not? How do you make sex?" And I never do that because I'm polite and I just want people to be the same. It's not because my man is incarcerated that you have to allow yourself to make negative comments about himself. And I won't allow that, and anyone who do that will be blocked on my phone and forever. So yes, that's a non-negotiable boundary for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
that. Listen to her.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing
Yes,
her
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
boundaries.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
absolutely
Good.
love that.
Yep. Yep. I love what she said. Like, I don't ask you how your man pleases you. Why are you asking me how my
Yep.
man pleases me?
For
Because
whatever
that's
reason,
rude.
people, when they know that you're in a relationship with someone incarcerated and you share any little bit of your life, like they think that is a door that they actually now get to ask you every single question that is so like disgusting and inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, what? No.
Can I tell you a little story
Go
time
for
about
it.
this? Oh my God. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Okay. So I'm friends with Mike's family on Facebook, and he knows about this story because I've told him about it. Okay. His cousin, his younger cousin, messaged me on Facebook and said, first of all, his whole family thinks I get conjugal visits. I don't know why that doesn't happen in the state of Louisiana. It only happens in 4 states, y'all. 4: New York, Washington, Connecticut, and California. Those are the 4 states that allow family visits. And in New York and Connecticut, you have to be married prior to incarceration in order to have an extended family visit. And I think in Washington, you have to be married at least 1 year before you can apply for extended family visits or family visits. So his family think I get family visits. So I don't tell them that I don't. I think they think my contact visits means I get to have sex with my husband, and I don't. And his cousin messaged me and says, I know you get to have some contact visits with Mike, but how do you stay satisfied?
So rude. So intrusive.
And I'll say this, when handling and dealing with this, first of all, I was flabbergasted because it's family. It's gross. Like, it's one thing to be a random person saying this, but it's another thing to be like your family asking me these questions. People that I actually have never met this man. I'm just friends with him on Facebook. Okay. And I simply did not respond. And then he finally said, okay, I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. Like, he responded with that. And I don't respond. I don't respond. I think no response is a response. And kind of like what Lulu said, like, they're going to be, I didn't block him or anything. I just choose not to respond because I know I'm the way for them to see Michael. Like, because I post my pictures and things like that. Like, I'm the access, that the bridge between Michael and them. So I just choose not to respond. And I think that that's a great way. If someone treats you or says something to you in person, you don't have to respond. If someone sends you a message, you don't have to respond. So I think no response is a response. I don't need to give that energy. I don't need to give that my time. I don't need to explain to you, you know? Luckily, he got it real quick because when I didn't respond, he said, okay, well, I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. I shouldn't have said that. He might have been, might have had a couple cocktails, whatever, and he might have, felt a little freer to say something, but
I don't know.
But yeah, it's just
That's a wild
it's yeah, well, his family's crazy.
It's crazy that they talk to you, but
So.
they don't, like, do they not talk to him and ask him these things? Like,
No, they don't talk to him. Well, that's what he was saying. He's like, all these people that say they love me, like, they haven't talked to me. They haven't emailed me. They haven't, sent me a letter or something. They haven't done anything. So, so for that girl that says, his ex that says from the street, his ex from the street, I call it ex from the street. She's like, oh, I love him. Tell him I love him. And I miss him so much. I love him. Oh my God. And he's like, bitch, where you been the past 25 years? So he knows what's real and he knows what's not. So, but she's obviously she was in love with him on the street and she's still in love with him today. I think, and that's what I said. If he ever did get out, I would be worried about her. I would be worried about her because she would try to come back and schmooze.
You have nothing to worry about, though.
No, but I mean, that's my shit. Don't touch it, bitch. That's how I feel.
Literally.
like you said the other day, I don't know if I could say it on here, but like, that's mine. That's mine.
The sound clip from the Jade and Alexis song. She goes, that's mine.
Wait, what's that?
It's literally called Barbie.
Oh.
Now I'm like, hello, mother. Wait.
I'm popping over here.
She said this.
I'm dancing.
This mine?
Oh my God, that's great. That's my dick.
Wait,
that's
should
my
we cut?
dick.
Should we
that's
cut?
my dick.
Should we
Back
cut
up,
that out
you
and
bitch.
then just play? Just play the sound.
Wait, what?
This my dick. This my dick. This my dick. Sis better chill front. You'll be the bitch. Wake up. Make up.
Better to beat a bitch up.
Yes. I'm gonna need to add that to
Listen,
my
you need to listen to
soundboard.
that
Just
song because
saying.
it is a bop. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Can you send it
Absolutely.
to me, please? What
Yeah,
it's Jaden
Blueface's
Alexis, you
baby
said?
mama.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Got it. I will definitely listen to that. So I like that. That's my dick. That's my dick. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have for the Speaky
Yeah,
Pipes.
thank you,
Thank you guys
friend.
for coming in. Ooh, okay. I got it. Thank you, Paige. Thank you guys for hitting us up, and thank you for hitting us on the Speaky Pipes. We love a good Speaky Pipe. We love your questions. Keep them coming every week. Look for our story on Fridays for the comments and questions. And guys, you don't have to do it on Friday. You can do it any day of the week. Leave us a Speaky Pipe. We want to know about your stories about your loved ones' Cellies. If you have any cool stories you want to share, keep it anonymous,
Mhm.
obviously for your protection, which you can do on Speaky Pipes. So yeah, go ahead and call us in and tell us some interesting stories about your loved ones' dorm mates or cellmates. Paige, do we have any shout
Um,
outs for
can
this
I?
week?
I'm gonna be a cornball. I want to give my shout out to Gigi. Um,
Wait, pause. I got
okay.
to sing my song. Give him shout, give him shout, give him
All right,
clout.
and
All right, go ahead.
oops, so I already said it. I'm gonna give my shout out to
Okay.
Gigi because we, as she said in the beginning of this episode, we had Camp Within Walls, and it was just so cool to watch the idea that she had thrown out to me like months ago come to life, and she put it together and made this beautiful calendar and mapped it all out and planned it and did such a great job and did lives, and she just did a really great job, and I think it was a really fun time for a bunch of women, and all of us are always constantly going through it, so it was just really nice to have a bunch of nights where we could just hang out and be together and be goofy and even paint and all that stuff, and that was because of you, so I just wanted to give you a shout out on here.
Aw. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna give myself an
Yeah.
air horn. Hold on.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Paige. I really appreciate that. And I do this because I know what it's like to be on this journey and how tough it is. And sometimes we just need to do fun stuff together. And even though we can't be together, y'all, like physically all the time, um, it's, now that we have Zoom and we have Facebook Lives and we have all these platforms, it's such a great way to get together and do stuff. Um, so I just, just know that you don't have to
Mhm.
be alone on this journey, because I know that, as you get older, your friends kind of start doing their own thing and they have their own families and they're not worried about you and your loved one incarcerated, and you feel some people are, kicked out of all of their circles. And I just wanted a place for everybody to be able to come together. So thank you guys for making it amazing. And, thank you for taking my brainchild Page and trusting me to do this and do the damn thing. And I just the feedback I got, of girls saying, "Oh, I
Mhm.
told my husband that I'm painting tonight. I have camp. I'm painting tonight." Like that to me was everything. Like they were just so excited, and their loved ones were excited for them. Like they were actually doing something in a group that
Right.
was supportive and healthy, and just good times. So
You're the
thank you,
best.
Paige. I
That was
appreciate it
fun.
for letting me run with that, because you
You
definitely let
did
me
it
run with
all.
that. All right. And do we have a
We
meme of the
do.
week? Okay. All right, guys. Paige is going to tell us the meme of the week. Please close your eyes because we're on audio.
It is a woman looking at, the back of her hand. She's just like, just hanging out. And it just says, a real woman will love her man despite his flaws and his prison sentence.
Amen, honey. Boom. We got it. With you, riding with you, honeys, riding with you.
Perfect.
Well, you guys, I enjoyed that. That was a good meme. And it's like one of those old memes from like the or like 2010s or something like that, where
Yeah,
it's like those old like funny greeting cards, you know? I love it. So be on the look for that on Hump Day, y'all, for our meme of the week on our Instas. So, Paige, do you have
No,
anything
I
else?
think that's it.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to end. Sad to say, it's time to end this pod. We hope you enjoyed it, and we're on episode. This is episode 16. We're almost to 20. Thank you for bringing us here with us in your car, on your laptop, on your phone, wherever you are. We love you guys. You're not alone. We're here to support you. And just reach out if you need anything. prisonwifepod@gmail.com, Prison Wife Podcast on Insta and TikTok. And you can always comment. Ooh, Paige, do we have an
Ooh,
emoji?
let's do.
A
Yeah, let's
random
do
ass emoji.
the salute one. Half-face salute.
Ooh, okay. Give us a little salutey pooty. Here we go. All right, guys. Show your salute if you've made it this far in the Potty Pod Pod. All right, well, we will be back next week. Hopefully, we'll see you guys. Hit us up, slide into our DMs. We love you, and you are not alone. We are here with you.
That's really good.
I forgot the rest. Anyway, sorry. But anyway, we love you guys. We hope you have a great week, great weekend, and look for our posts on Insta and hit us up whenever. And you can speaky pipe us whenever you
Love
want.
you guys.
We love you guys.
Happy Friday.
Love you,
Or
besitos.
what? It's not even Friday
It's Happy
right
Hump Day.
now. I don't know. Good night. Good night. Happy. Good morning. Whatever time it is. I don't know.
Buenas noches, y'all. We love you. All right, guys. I hope you have a great night or day, and we will see you
Bye,
next
friends.
week. Take care.